Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
One of the keys for the Cardinals will be to expedite the learning curve for their 21-year-old shortstop, Mason Wynn. They need him to be special right now. Corey Miller has more from Jupiter.
Greetings from spring training, where the best thing I saw today was this. Yes, that's Ozzie Smith, the Wizard, doing some drills with prospect Thomas Saggese. As for the current starting shortstop for the Cardinals, well, Mason Wynn is ready to get going after last year's brief stint in St. Louis.
Man, it was tough, man. You know, I definitely struggled before. It wasn't my first time, but you know, on the big stage, I would say it hurt a little bit more. You know, I know if my bat's not there right now, I still got to make a play on defense. So I think really just staying locked in, you know, not getting too hard on myself, not getting too down on myself is big for me. It'll be truly special for me to be up there and hopefully help contribute to win a lot of games, you know, and hopefully push for a World Series. I think that's, you know, at the end of the day what we're all pulling for, and you know, I think everybody in that clubhouse is 10 toes down looking for that mission right now.
Wynn's locker in the Cardinals clubhouse is right next to fellow Texan Matt Carpenter. The young shortstop told me he's looking forward to soaking up all the knowledge he can from all the veterans in camp this season. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Nolan Arenado is likely headed to Cooperstown. 8 All-Star games and 10 Gold Gloves is pretty good. But he's only 32, and you know he has a lot of goals left. Corey Miller has more on the Cardinal, who is consumed by his craft.
Good evening from the iconic lighthouse here in Jupiter, Florida. To say 2023 was un-Cardinal-like is a severe understatement. 2024 is a new start, and the team's generational third baseman has had enough of losing.
You know, last year it just didn't sit well with anybody, and especially the whole offseason, thinking about it and how frustrating it was. So, you know, it just feels good to come into camp with a clean slate and just ready to get after it. And I feel good. I feel excited, and you know, hopefully that continues. But you know, we got a lot of work to do now. But you know, there's no doubt that we want to change the script, definitely from last year.
So, do you want to know how much Nolan Arenado thinks about baseball? Here's a snapshot. He says he sometimes catches himself practicing his swing while he's watching Disney movies with his daughter. That's the story from here in Jupiter. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Let's head to Jupiter and check in with our Corey Miller.
The biggest buzz of the Cardinals offseason was no doubt the addition of starter Sonny Gray. The new ace has brought a meticulous approach to the Cardinals rotation and already has a St. Louis legend for a friend he met living in Nashville. I'm going to bet you won't see this coming.
And I texted him today, and I told him, I said, hey, still got some connections up there in St. Louis, so whatever you need, you let me know, because there's a lot of great people that love to golf and have a good time.
And then we just kind of built the relationship through golf and through sport, and just through like just being a fun guy. Like, he's just a fun guy. Yeah, he's awesome.
Gray threw a live batting practice against some of the Cardinals' top bats today at camp and is almost assured to get that opening day start against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Reporting from Jupiter, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
For more on Lance, let's go to Jupiter and check in with Corey Miller.
The Cardinals had a clear goal this offseason: acquire veteran starting pitching. They accomplished that with the additions of Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, and the return of Lance Lynn. I asked Lynn earlier today what it means to him to be a Cardinal.
You know, the Cardinal way has changed over years, to be honest with you. When I first came up, the Cardinal way was about winning. It was about only thing that mattered was taking care of your teammates, making sure that on the field that you were doing everything you can to help the team win, and your own personal goals didn't matter. So I think over time things kind of go in a gray area, and the reason why I came back is, you know, they wanted to go back to the time when we won a lot. Obviously last year wasn't what they wanted. This year they brought back guys that want to win, and they want to, you know, make their mark about winning. That's who they are. So you know, that's the best way to teach the Cardinal way, is show up and figure out how to win games and do things the right way.
It's not just a reunion for Lance in St. Louis. Of course, old teammate Matt Carpenter is now a teammate again, and another former teammate, Daniel Descalzo, is now Lance Lynn's bench coach. Reporting from Jupiter, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
The Cardinals will open Saturday with a split squad doubleheader. Lefties Zach Thompson and Matthew Libator will be the starters. And one guy playing directly behind them in center field is one to watch. Corey Miller has the story from Jupiter.
Greetings from Florida, and I'd say a pretty good view today. Now, spring training is time to get eyes on some younger players working their way up through the Cardinals system, and no prospect is getting more attention in this camp than outfielder Victor Scott II. He is a speedster who stole 94 bases in the minors last season.
I'm hearing the term whitey ball a lot, and with running, stealing bases, and putting yourself in scoring position, hearing that term a lot. So my game just is really important because it stands out. You know, kind of the game that is played now in today's game is dealing with slugging percentage, OPS, which are definitely variables that need to be paid attention to. But I feel like with singles and stolen bases, it kind of adds a different element to the game. Fans kind of scooting to the edge of their seats and waiting for a stolen base or waiting for a first or third opportunity.
Scott told me he was even able to get some base stealing tips from legendary Cardinals speedster Vince Coleman when the two got to meet last season. That's the story from Jupiter. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Well, the Cardinals will play their first games of the spring tomorrow. They'll have a split squad doubleheader against the Marlins and the Mets. And as Corey Miller, who we miss here in the studio very much, shows us from down south, for the players, it's about time.
Welcome to sunny Jupiter, Florida in Cardinals spring training. Now the team begins Grapefruit League games tomorrow against the Marlins and Mets, and they've done enough talking about 2023. They're ready for a clean slate in 2024. I talked to some of the team's key pieces about turning the page this season.
I mean, I think this team is hungry for winning games, to reach again to the playoff, and I think the main focus is to get better, to win games, and that's what has been going on around this camp so far.
You know, last year it just didn't sit well with anybody, and especially the whole offseason, thinking about it and how frustrating it was. So, you know, it just feels good to come into camp with a clean slate and just ready to get after it.
Guys seem to continuing to learn, continuing to try to get better. I can't speak on last year, and I really don't want to speak on last year. But from what I've seen, it's a good group of guys.
Back then, you just did what you were told. Nowadays, that doesn't work. If you try to tell a guy this or that, you know, it might not go well. So you got to learn them as people, figure out what makes them click, create a personality, and then figure out how to interject your personality into a team so we can have 26 guys that are individually in it for the team.
As far as competition in camp goes, well, we know what the lineup and the rotation will look like for 2024, but perhaps a few bullpen slots and a bat off the bench could still be up for grabs. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
The Cardinals will open up Grapefruit League play tomorrow with a split squad doubleheader. Shortstop Mason Wynn won't play in either game, though he did return to full activity today. He's going to be reevaluated in the morning to see when he might get into game action. But for now, here's Corey Miller reporting from Jupiter.
Welcome to Cardinals spring training, where yes, baseball is at the forefront, but another sport is key in the Cardinals clubhouse as well. And Nolan Arenado and Lars Nootbaar sure do seem like a fun time on the golf course.
I'm an 18 handicap, but I like to say I'm the best 18 handicap there is in the game.
I mean, he'll go triple, 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 then par, birdie, par, par, and then triple, triple, triple. So, yeah, I mean, he does some things. He can hit a 3-iron like 285. So he's got some. He can be a good golfer if he works on it.
Of course, that pair doesn't just golf together when they're away from the team. They work on their swings. They did a lot of it together in California this summer. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Besides finishing in last place, the worst thing the Cardinals did last year was try to blame Wilson Contreras for the pitching woes. As we know, Wilson was not the problem, but could be a solution. Corey Miller has more from Jupiter.
Good evening from Cardinals camp and the Atlantic Ocean. Now, it's no secret that Wilson Contreras' first year in St. Louis did not go quite as scripted. However, his bat did play on the field with 20 bombs and a .264 average. Entering year 2, Contreras says he's more settled and has already made 2023 a thing of the past.
The thing that I learned the most, just control what I can control, and be me. Don't change who I am, and don't try to be a different person. Just play the way I play and do the things I do. I think everything's built during spring training, especially the chemistry of the whole team, because that's what you're gonna take into the season, and then that's what we've been doing lately. I mean, I think this team is hungry for winning games, to reach again to the playoff, and I think the main focus is to get better, to win games, and that's what has been going on around this camp so far.
As far as other faces behind home plate for 2024, Andrew Kisner is now in Texas. That means long-coveted prospect Ivan Herrera will get a full shot as Contreras' backup for this season. Reporting from spring training, I am Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
With that said, the new pitcher, Kyle Gibson, was particularly sharp today in Jupiter. Corey Miller is filing reports from Jupiter all week, and he takes a look at the 2 new Cardinal relief pitchers.
Hello from Jupiter, where the sun is out and the Cardinals are rounding into form for 2024. Now, the new additions in the rotation have gotten a lot of play here in camp, but there's also some new faces in the bullpen. I chatted with Andrew Kittredge and Keenan Middleton earlier today about what they bring to the club.
In here, I don't talk too much, kind of quieter, but on the mound, I'm fiery, and I think that that's something that the pen could use for sure from what I've heard. And I'm just trying to absorb all the knowledge that I can with guys like Sonny around me, guys like Miles, like Lance. I'm just trying to absorb it all so that I can take it out to the year and use it.
I mean, Mo was just talking about it yesterday. You know, he goes back 100 years, and the championships and the winning that they've just are accustomed to dealing with here. So I think the expectation is to get back to that.
Earlier today, manager Oliver Marmol said about 5 spots in that bullpen are already spoken for, with about 3 up for grabs this camp. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Tommy Edman could not make the first full squad workout today for the Cardinals because of the flu, but everybody else was on hand, including our Corey Miller.
One thing about 2024 Cardinals camp has already been made abundantly clear. This team is ready to put 2023's 91-loss season behind them. Manager Ollie Marmol is in the last year of his deal, and he told me the only thing he's worried about this season is winning.
I think, to your point, is it human nature? Sure, but man, God has a reason for me being here. I'm not concerned with what my future holds. I never have been, and hopefully never will be at the moment. My job is to connect with those guys and do a good job for the organization, continue to put ourselves in the best chance to have success, and win some ball games. And I can tell you I'm highly committed to those things at the moment.
I also chatted with designated hitter Matt Carpenter earlier today, who said he's excited to be back and ready to get this franchise back to the standard of winning. That's the story from Jupiter down at spring training. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
This offseason, everybody was excited when the Cardinals signed Sonny Gray and not so excited when they signed Kyle Gibson. Gibson won 7 more games, and they had the same number of quality starts. Corey Miller has the Kyle Gibson story from Jupiter.
Sure, you can call the Cardinals' 2024 rotation old if you want, but the team sees experience and reliability. Former Missouri Tiger Kyle Gibson is one of the new veterans added to the mix. The Cardinals always felt like a logical baseball home for Gibson, and he's hoping to be part of a 2024 resurgence.
You know, I faced this team last year. I don't know what they thought about it, but it just seemed like a fluky year. And going through the lineup of my preparation, like, man, this is a really good team. So I don't think it's major adjustments that we need to make. I think it's, you know, maybe it was just one of those years where you say, all right, let's bring in the people that they wanted to bring in and let's get a fresh start.
One of Gibson's strongest Cardinals connections, well, that would be Adam Wainwright. Gibson and his wife both assist with Wayno's charity, Big League Impact. That's the story from spring training. I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Corey Miller has more from Jupiter with Goldie.
There's no doubt that the 2 most coveted players to get a glimpse of at Cardinal spring training are the infield cornerstones of Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. I chatted with Goldie earlier today about his mindset coming into 2024.
Man, I feel motivated every year, but I think you want to be that guy. You don't want to let your teammates down. We're part of a team. It's more than just about me, and so, you know, you want to be there for those guys. You want to do your job and try to go out there and have success.
Goldschmidt is slated to be a free agent at the end of this season, but said the future will work itself out. He's focused on regaining his 2022 MVP form. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
We feel we have spring training covered quite well at 5 on Your Side. Highlights of every game they played, analysis from Cardinal broadcaster Mike Claiborne, and today, Corey Miller showed up in Jupiter and he files this report.
Greetings from sunny Jupiter, Florida, on the first day of full squad workouts for the Cardinals here at spring training. Now, after a 91-loss season in 2023, this team is eager to turn the page for 2024, and they brought in a few veterans to help restore that winning culture. You might recognize this first face.
I mean, certainly being here and being part of a winning, team was what excites me. I mean, I think one of the best things about being a Cardinal is the expectation to win year in, year out. And I knew that, they were going to do whatever they could to get back to the postseason in 2024. So having the opportunity to be a part of it, I was thrilled.
At 38 years old, Carpenter knows he's not the player he was in his first stint in St. Louis, but he's hoping donning those birds on the bat once again will help restore some of the magic. Reporting from Cardinals camp here in Jupiter, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.